Hey, welcome to Draft Academy. My name's Mike. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk to you guys about building a calculator in Python. Now, if you've been following along with this course, you'll know that in the beginning of the course, we actually created a very basic calculator. Basically, the user could just enter in two numbers and our calculator would add the numbers together and spit out the answer. In this tutorial, I want to show you guys how to build a more advanced calculator. So this calculator is going to be able to perform all of the basic arithmetic operations. So we can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And will actually allow the user to specify which one of those they want to do. So the user will enter in a number. They'll enter in whatever operator they want to use. So plus, minus, divide, multiply. And then they'll enter in the second number and we'll perform the operation for them. So this is gonna be pretty cool. And it's gonna show you how we can use if statements in like a practical application. So let's get started. The first thing we wanna do is get input from the user. So I'm gonna create three variables, one for the first number, one for the second number, and one for the operator. And we'll basically store the values that the user inputs into those variables. So the first one will just be num1. And I'm gonna set this equal to input, and we're gonna give this a prompt. So I'll say enter first number. And here's actually the thing is whatever the user enters, we're gonna wanna convert it into a number. So generally in Python, when we get input from the user, no matter what they put in, it just gets converted into a string. But we don't want a string because we're gonna have to be adding or subtracting or multiplying these numbers together. So whenever they enter in the number, I just want to immediately convert it to an actual like number data type instead of a string. So what I can do is I can actually say float, and I can surround this entire input tag with parentheses. And now what this is going to do is it's going to immediately convert whatever the user inputs into a float. Now that's going to mean that they're going to have to insert a number, otherwise we'll get an error. But for the most part, this should work out for us. So I'm actually just gonna copy this guy and we'll go ahead and paste it over here, and we'll paste it one more time. So we're basically just trying to get three pieces of input from the user. So the second thing we wanna get is the operator. So I'm just gonna say OP for operator, and I'll actually get rid of this float because we wanna keep this as a string, and I'll just say enter operator. So that's going to be like plus, minus, multiplication, whatever. And then finally down here we'll get num2, and again we're going to want to convert this to a float. So I'll say enter second number. So now basically what we're doing is we're getting the first number, we're getting the operator, and we're getting the second number from the user. So what we need to do now is we need to figure out what is inside of this OP. In other words, we need to figure out what operator the user was trying to do. So are they trying to do addition? Are they trying to do subtraction? Like, we want to figure that out. So we can use an if statement in order to figure that out. So I'm going to come down here and I'm basically just going to create an if statement. So I'm going to say if, and we want to check a condition. So I'm basically going to check to see if this operator is equal to a plus sign. So I can say if OP equals plus sign. And now if the operator is equal to plus sign, I'm just going to print out num1 plus num2. But let's say that instead of a plus sign, they entered in something else. So we can say elif OP is equal to, and now we'll check if it's a minus sign. And so here we'll just print num1 minus num2. And actually I forgot to put a colon here. So we can just do these for everything. So now we can say elif OP is equal to division, and here we'll just divide the two numbers. So I can print out num1 divided by num2. And finally we'll do the same thing for multiplication. So I'll say elif OP is equal to asterisk, and we'll just print out num1 times num2. All right, so basically over here we have every condition, but I also want to put in an else statement. So in the case that the user enters in an operation that's not like one of the four that we specified up here, I just want to throw an error. So I'm just going to say OP, or actually we just say else, and here we'll just print out like invalid operator. All right, so this if statement should give us everything we want. Basically, I'm just checking to see if it's equal to a plus sign, a minus sign, a division sign, or a multiplication sign. And depending on which one it's equal to, we'll do a different operation. So let's go ahead and run this and see how we do. So I'm gonna run this program, and it says enter first number. Let's enter 5. Enter an operator, so why don't we just do addition and enter a second number. Let's do 23. So now it prints out the answer, 28. So our calculator actually works. Let's try another operator just to make sure. So we'll do 6, and why don't we multiply it by, I don't know, 5.23. So now we go off and we do the multiplication, and looks like we got our answer. So our calculator seems to be working. And so basically all we did was we got the input from the user, and then we used if statements to figure out what they wanted to do, right? So we could check to see if they wanted addition. We could check to see if they wanted subtraction or division or multiplication. And we could also check to see if they entered in an invalid operator. So actually, why don't we try that too? So I'll enter in like 5, and now we'll just enter in like an open and close parentheses and a 4. So you can see here it's able to tell, like the program's smart enough to know that that's not a valid operator. So these if statements can be really powerful, and we can use them in combination with getting the user input to create a little calculator. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to Draft Academy to be the first to know when we release new content. Also, we're always looking to improve, so if you have any constructive criticism or questions or anything, leave a comment below. Finally, if you're enjoying Draft Academy and you want to help us grow, head over to draftacademy.com/contribute and invest in our future.